Thank you. The idea I want to present here today is of somewhat an ambiguous nature because of how omnipresent it is in all of our lives. To some of us, it may be something we're already aware of, and to all of us, it's something that impacts us, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. This idea is the concept of how we as individuals can work together despite our different work ethics, attitudes, and values, and that this difference can be worked to our benefit. Thus, what everyone takes away from this talk will be something different and unique to the individual. I know I'm only 16, and saying this may make me sound a bit older than I am, but as a child, I moved around a lot with my family. This means I've lived in a lot of different places, attended a lot of different schools, and met and parted with a lot of different people. I've lived in Xi'an, Shanghai, Beijing as a toddler, Vancouver, British Columbia as an elementary school student, Guangzhou as a middle school student, and back here to Beijing as a high school student. In contrast, the Western Academy of Beijing is a place where people seem to stay, and many of my peers have been at WAB for more than 10 or 11 years. For me, that kind of experience is something that I cannot fully comprehend, but at the same time wish I had the opportunity to comprehend. On the other hand, I am grateful and glad that I have always been the one moving around. Honestly speaking, I think I would have been bored if I stayed in one place for too long. WAB is my 6th school, 8th if you count preschool, and the variety of things I have experienced with different people has made my life all the more interesting. Most importantly, all this moving has given me a kind of adaptability I would otherwise have not been able to acquire. This kind of adaptability may be something that's taken for granted in a community like the WAB community, as so many of us here are third culture adults and kids whose identities have been built on a diverse experience from different parts of the world. However, we should be aware that this is not an ability that everybody has, and it is an ability that, if used correctly, can lead to great success in working with people, making friends, and enjoying whatever environment you are in now and will be in the future. Adaptability isn't just about the individual or the environment. In our lives, we've all had to work with other people sometime or another with the common aim of achieving a certain goal. Whether that be completing a school project, planning for a presentation, playing with the team on a sport event, or developing a new medicine to treat an illness. From big and grand aspirations to ever-present everyday tasks, collaboration between individuals is always in our lives. Working with others is an inevitable and integral part of being human. And it is when we have to work with other people that we really get to know them, because we have to communicate them and collaborate with them in order to achieve whatever is necessary for the purpose at hand. And it is when you interact with others in this way that you really get to understand them. And it is through such experiences that I came to understand the unchangeable fact that there are many, many different people in our world with many, many different ways of going about completing their work. We have all had the experience of working in groups, especially as students at WAB. Group projects are an essential part of our curriculum, ranging from a group presentation in the humanities to creating a choreography for a dance unit in PE. Experiences of group work can be fun and productive, or exasperating and difficult, or anything in between. We're going to focus on 2 extreme scenarios today for the sake of simplicity. The first scenario is a group experience that can be very pleasant. The people in the group are organized, focused, and hardworking. They listen to what you have to say and contribute to the discussion with their own opinions, ideas, and constructive criticism. They complete their work on time, and everything runs smoothly until the end product is completed. The second scenario is where the people in your group are distracted, unproductive, and irresponsible. They seem to lack an understanding of what needs to be done, or do not see a significant importance in completing their work. They do not listen or contribute very little and in the very end, you realize that you have to complete 95% of the work yourself, while the others split up the remaining 5%, and you find that you have to redo that 5% once they send it to you. In reality, what we are faced with is oftentimes something that falls between these 2 extremes. But considering the 2 scenarios we have in front of us now, we need to realize that ultimately, everyone is able to do something, and everyone is able to make some sort of contribution, whether or not that ability appears evident or not at first sight. For me personally, this realization did not come easily. Rather, it was something I had to learn gradually through experience. because I myself have a strong work ethic, and that is an aspect of my personality that I am proud of, and I would like to think I will never lose. The importance of working hard is something that has been built into me by people in my life, and I'm very thankful towards those people. They have given me the belief that with hard work, you can get anywhere. However, through working with others in many different environments for so many different purposes, I have come to understand that people have different work ethics and people value different things, all of which are equally important. And to be honest, without these variations in disposition, our world would become incredibly dull because it is these differences that weave the fabric of our society. Initially, these differences in work ethic led to exasperation, but eventually I came to understand that such differences between people can be something positive instead of something negative, and it can be an asset rather than an obstacle to the development of our community. Let me explain what I mean by this. People have different strengths and weaknesses, and as humans, it is often too easy to focus only on the weaknesses instead of the strengths. Focusing on the weaknesses of every individual will eventually build up to an overwhelming amount of weaknesses for us to look at, which will subsequently paint quite a gloomy picture in terms of our ability to get anything done as a group. However, if we realize that the strength of one person can compensate for the weakness of another, in this way a group can be brought together into a cohesive whole in which everyone strengthens everyone else through our differences, that is where great things can truly be accomplished. Let me bring an example into this to put it all into context for you. I'm currently the co-leader of a group in the high school called the Global Issues Network, or GIN. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this student organization, we are a group that focuses on environmental, social, and humanitarian issues of global significance, and designs and completes small projects that can make a difference step by step, starting within the WAB community. I have been a member of this group since my first year at WAB, and am now leading the group with my fellow co-leader. As a leader of the group, it is clear for us to see the composition of the group. By this, I mean the kind of people who make up our team. They are the doers doing the bulk of the work, the floaters who sometimes do a bit of this and a bit of that, and people who are just plain there, not serving any obvious function. Actually, there are also people who are just plain not there, and that is what attendances are for, right? As the leaders, we have to accommodate for all these different people and make sure that regardless of what kind of person you are getting something valuable and worthwhile out of your experience as a GIN member. This is where the concept of adaptability comes in, adapting to work with different people and their different working styles and habits. By giving everyone an opportunity to contribute and add on to what we do as a whole group, we're enabling every individual to make a difference in their own way. In conclusion, I truly believe that while hard work will take you to great places, the fact that not everybody works in the same way is not necessarily bad. Understanding that groups with differences are all the more cohesive and capable, given that those differences be bridged in the correct ways, is what will really take you to great places in life. Thank you.